Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Cloud cover has been slowly increasing across mid-Michigan for the first half of the day. Satellite and radar still shows quiet conditions across the region, but we're now dealing with mostly cloudy skies. Temperature-wise, we're already at 53 degrees in Lansing and St. John's, 54 the current temperature in Jackson, Mason, Charlotte, as well as down to our south in the city of Hillsdale. We will stay dry as we go throughout the rest of the day, with temperatures topping out in the 60s. We have another 60-degree high temperature in the forecast for tomorrow before the chance for a wintry mix of rain and possibly snow returns to the area. 6 News at Noon starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at Noon.
Farmers rallied outside the Capitol today, voicing concerns of government overreach, while lawmakers inside discuss new regulations. It's our top story at noon. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jorma Duran. Megan is off today. Many Michigan farmers and about a dozen heavy tractors were outside the Capitol building today to make their presence known about what they call is government overreach connected to agriculture. Nick Simon talked to one of them to find out why they're so upset. Nick.
Jorma, the Republican-led House Oversight Committee heard testimony today from farmers who say that new regulations are killing their industry. Most of the people who came today represented family farms, and they want to make sure that they have a viable business to pass on to their kids. These farmers say that regulations are already putting people out of business in Michigan. That includes Jesse Meerman, who runs a 130-year-old family-owned dairy farm. He hopes to pass it down to his daughters one day, but he says that's not going to happen if state officials keep moving the goalposts on environmental regulation.
It's definitely a factor. I see that as the biggest threat, government overreach, especially when it deals with like manure handling, which is something that, for thousands of years it's been a fertilizer. And now they're wanting to treat it like an industrial waste product. And to treat it as industrial waste is going to put, most of us out of business. When we start putting other people in between us and the customers, then who don't have the same values at all, and they really have no skin in the game other than it seems like the motive is to make us stop doing business.
6 News also had cameras inside the Capitol to cover the hearing with the Oversight Committee. I'll have more details on that later this evening. Back to you.
Nick, thank you very much. This isn't the only thing happening at the Capitol today. GOP lawmakers are discussing their newest road funding plan, as well as voting on a tax cut plan. The Democrats are discussing their plans to reintroduce legislation dealing with transparency in government. We'll have more about these later in our evening shows. President Trump is expected to speak to Russian President Vladimir Putin by phone today about ending the war in Ukraine. The Trump administration also faces a deadline today from a federal judge who wants more details about why the White House ignored his ruling to turn around flights sending Venezuelan immigrants to a prison in El Salvador. Here for you with the story is Natalie Brand.
Ahead of the high-stakes call, President Trump expressed optimism over negotiations to end Russia's war on Ukraine.
We're trying to get a peace agreement done. We want to get a ceasefire and then a peace agreement.
President Trump said Ukraine's land and power plants will likely be part of the discussions with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Russian forces are occupying around 20% of Ukraine and seized the Zaporizhzhia power plant in 2022, Europe's largest nuclear site, which has been caught in the crossfire. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited a military cemetery in Lviv Tuesday to pay his respects to soldiers killed during Russia's invasion. Ukraine is skeptical that Putin is ready for peace, but hopeful for a breakthrough after 3 years of fighting.
Of course, there's no trust, but politics is politics. Every war comes with negotiations, so if we need to sit at the table, so that's what we should do.
Here in Washington, a legal battle is escalating over deportation flights and the use of a 1798 wartime law allowing the president to detain and deport non-citizens. A federal judge is demanding answers today about whether the administration violated his order over the weekend by sending planes with more than 200 migrants to El Salvador, many alleged gang members. A Justice Department attorney argued that they were not bound by the order since it wasn't in writing. Natalie Brand, CBS News, The White House.
Meanwhile, top Democrats on the House Judiciary and House Oversight Committees have filed a lengthy Freedom of Information Act request about the Department of Government Efficiency. The Democrats question whether the Trump administration's DOGE service is operating, quote, outside the bounds of federal law. Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland and Gerald Connolly of Virginia say Americans have a right to know. We're also working to learn more about when police responded to a call about a shooting at a Speedway gas station located at the intersection of Lake Lansing and Abbott Roads. It happened at around 5:15 p.m. yesterday. When police arrived, they found evidence of a shooting. However, the victim and any suspects had already left the area. They later learned that the victim turned up at a local hospital. That person is expected to survive. East Lansing police want to hear from anyone with information about the shooting. The email address for the detective on this case is on your screen right now. 6 News will continue to update you as we learn more. The Capital Area Transportation Authority is now licensed to operate as a Safe Place, which is a national outreach and prevention program for vulnerable youth. This means CATA vehicles and facilities will now serve as safe places for people under the age of 18 who are experiencing crisis such as abuse, neglect, violence, bullying, trafficking, or stalking. They can board any CATA vehicle for free and receive immediate assistance from employees or security guards by asking for a safe place. CATA will then cooperate with local law enforcement and community resources and report any incident to the National Safe Place Network.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We are kicking off a very spring-like weather pattern as we go throughout the rest of the work week across mid-Michigan. We have fluctuating temperatures, thunderstorms, and also the potential for a rain and snow mix moving into the forecast within the next few days. Thankfully, for the rest of our Tuesday, we'll have very little to worry about in terms of active weather. Satellite and radar shows dry conditions across mid-Michigan with mostly cloudy skies. However, we are keeping an eye on this area of low pressure still developing over towards the Rocky Mountains. That system will be bringing warmer air to the forecast tomorrow and also the potential for a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms starting Wednesday evening. Currently, the Storm Prediction Center does have the southwestern portion of mid-Michigan in that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk for strong to severe storms. However, I'm really not impressed with the timing or ingredients that the system is going to be having as it moves into mid-Michigan. So our potential for severe weather still remains incredibly limited. However, if we were to see anything, it's going to be very similar to the system that we saw over the weekend, with a few isolated strong wind gusts possible across the area, in addition to maybe some small hail as well. Precision Cast will keep us dry as we go throughout the rest of the day, still staying under mostly cloudy conditions. We'll hold on to those mostly cloudy skies even as we move into the start of our Wednesday, with our storm system eventually moving into the region Wednesday evening right around 5 or 6 o'clock. This system going to come in as 2 different waves. This first one, just a couple of scattered rain showers, a better chance for those rumbles of thunder as we move closer to midnight as a very strong cold front makes its way through the area. We're going to feel the effect of that cold front incredibly quickly, with the chance for that rain and snow mix moving into the forecast Thursday morning. I will mention at that time temperatures will be in the low 40s, so we are not looking at anything significant in terms of accumulations, but still it is springtime in mid-Michigan and we're still going to be seeing the chance for snow for quite some time here. In addition to the chance for precipitation, we also have to keep an eye on the winds with this system as well. Wednesday evening, winds gusting between 30 and 40 miles per hour. We'll hold on to those strong winds even as we go throughout our Thursday, but notice early Thursday morning, those winds now coming out of the northwest. That'll help to bring a cooler air mass into the region, and you're definitely going to feel the effects of that come Thursday. We'll go from high temperatures in the mid-60s today and tomorrow all the way down to a high below average for Thursday, only making it up into the low 40s. I will say that high temperature on Thursday occurs in the morning. Readings will be falling throughout the day by then. Outside right now, still a very pleasant afternoon. We have cloudy conditions across the area. Temperatures generally sitting in the mid to low 50s. We're at 53 degrees in St. John's and Lansing, 54 our current temperature in Hillsdale. We'll rise a few more degrees up to a high of 64 today. And even overnight tonight, we are still going to be incredibly mild. Overnight lows only falling down to 54 across mid-Michigan. 6-day forecast, again, still going to seem very spring-like as we go throughout the day. Tomorrow, 66 the high temperature. We're cooling things down throughout our Thursday, highs in the low 40s, 54 the high temperature come Friday. And then, of course, those 40s and the chance for precipitation will move in just in time for the weekend.
Yeah, it's all over the place. We got 60s, we got 20s, we got everything.
It's springtime in mid-Michigan.
You're right about that. All right, thanks so much. Well, the NCAA tournament begins Thursday, and to get ready for the madness, be sure to tune into our March to Glory special. It runs on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on WLNS and then on Thursday at 9 a.m. on WLAJ. Coming up on 6 News at noon, we'll have the latest on the wave of Israeli airstrikes that ended the ceasefire with Hamas.